Station, this is Houston. Are you ready for the event?
Houston, this is Station. I am ready for the event.
Brad Pitt, this is Mission Control Houston. Please call Station for a voice check.
Station, this is Brad. How do you hear me?
Hey, Brad, this is Nick. I've got you loud and clear. Welcome to the International Space Station.
Thank you very much. I got to tell you, this is a real treat. Real pleasure to be talking to you up there.
Hey, likewise, a treat for us. Actually, we got a chance to sneak preview the movie a few weeks back, and just want to start off by saying thank you for what you're doing to contribute to the mission of awareness and to set that, light that fire in the imaginations of the next generation of explorers.
Thank you, Nick. Thank you very much. It's incredible. I got to go to JPL last week, and it was on the day when India was landing on the moon, and the United States were assisting them in that effort. Could you see that from where you are?
No, unfortunately. So I along with the rest of the crew, just had to follow along with the news reports, and it's one of those things where international cooperation is so important because a saying we've got up here is space is hard. Things that should be easy, when you try to do them in space, they just get harder. And the things that we're trying to do every day. The team on the ground, NASA and its international partners, do a great job of making really hard, almost impossible things look routine. And it's one of those things where you can get some complacency, but the things that we're able to achieve together it's something special. For me, that is the biggest thing that I've pulled from this mission, is that idea of cooperation at a global scale is what's going to propel humanity into the future.
I got to see a little of that. They were working on the new rover that's going to go to Mars, and it was an international effort, which was really impressive to see everyone working together to build different components to this rover. Yeah, to me it sounds harrowing and really challenging. I'd read astronauts speak about looking back on the Earth and really being aware how insignificant we are in the grand scheme of things. Did you have a similar experience or something different?
That's one of the special things about being up here, is being able to float over to the window and see the Earth below, to look down 250 miles and with your naked eye you can see the crop circles in Kansas, in Missouri, and you can see humanity below you, and you can see it glide by as we go screaming through the sky, at 5 miles a second, and just take in, you get a perspective that you're away from the Earth. And then same view, you can see the moon rising over the horizon, and you get this idea that I'm not on the Earth, and I'm not at the moon, but I'm just kind of in the cosmos. And then that perspective really challenges you, because now you're looking down at everything that you've ever known, all of humanity right there, and you have this deep appreciation for how big the universe really is. And for me, it's just made me cherish and appreciate how delicate and how precious the little island we live on really is.
I think that's really beautiful to hear. One of the things we were playing with in the film, which we really didn't get to, was this idea of 3D printing. We were going to this idea that everything would be 3D printed on location. And I understand you all have already adopted some of that, yes?
Yeah, absolutely. We've had several experiments up here. So some of the experiments we're doing here are technology demonstrations to prove out a concept that we hope to apply as we go back to the moon and as part of the Artemis program. And so things like tools and simple things that might be easy to print on demand when you need them, so that you don't have to launch every conceivable object with you when you're going on that long trip to the moon or that extremely long trip to Mars. You can just take some stock with you, some feedstock, and then just throw that in the printer and then print out what you need. So we've done those things, and we continue to experiment with those. One of the more interesting ideas behind 3D printing that we just wrapped up an experiment session with was 3D printing organs. And so we had cardiac muscle and veins, and there was a ink printer that we loaded in the inks, if you will, into the printer, and watched it try to print out samples of tissue.
It's just incredible to think what the future is going to bring. I got to ask you. They tell me my time's almost up. This is such a pleasure. I get ask questions for hours. Please tell me, what's a spacewalk like? What do you feel?
Yeah, so you really are, when you get in your spacesuit, you're putting on your own spacecraft. And so as you embark out through the hatchway, the first thing you see is the Earth 250 miles below, and different than the perspective you get inside the space station, the helmet really provides almost this 180 panoramic view that's unobstructed, and you very quickly forget that there's anything between you and the vacuum of space. Really, the only noise you hear is the quiet hum of the ventilation system blowing fresh air behind your head to support. That's your life support system, and then you find yourself going to working with the team on the ground and being focused on the task. But there are these special moments. I can remember one from my last EVA where I was out on the very front of the space station, and I was getting ready to pack up a bag and come back inside, and I looked up, and there was just the Earth, the curve of the Earth, and terrain coming underneath me, and I could feel the speed of the station. We're going 17,000 miles per hour through space, and it could feel the speed of that as I'm riding on the front, just looking out over everything in front of us. And it's just the emotions that just wash over you are just hard to describe.
Amazing. Nick, last question, and I need to call on your expertise. Who was more believable, Clooney or Pitt?
You were, absolutely.
Nick, thank you so much. It's been an absolute pleasure, a real dream of mine. I can't wait to brag to my kids. And thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to speak with me and to watch our film. And all my respect to what you guys are doing up there.
Well, thank you. Thank you again. What you do and what you're able to do through storytelling to inspire the next generation is so critical to the success of our programs in the future. My generation, I am not going to be the person that steps foot on Mars, but the children that are watching your movies, those young adults that are watching your movies, are the ones that are going to be inspired to achieve great things. And it's the power of those dreams that you inspire that is going to propel us successfully into the future. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Nick. All the best, and all the best to everyone up there.
Station, this is Houston ACR. That concludes the event.
We'd like to thank Brad Pitt for participating today. Station, we are now resuming operational audio communications.